Join us as we travel on a dusty back road that goes from Apple Valley, California to Big Bear Lake over a historic supply road built in the 1860s. Lately on our YouTube channel, we've noticed that people seem to have an increased interest in historic roads. So, we updated this virtual road trip tour in 2020 to include more information about this road. Here's a map of the San Bernardino Mountains east of LA. As advertised, our trip starts in the high desert town of Apple Valley and ends at the small town of Fawnskin on the shores of Big Bear Lake. Here's the route we'll take. Most of this route will be on a dirt road that, at times, can be rough. We get a lot of people asking us, "Can I drive my vehicle on this road?" And our answer is, well, it depends. Naturally, we only have experience driving our own vehicles, which are both high-clearance four-wheel drive Toyota 4Runners. But we do have lots of experience driving on different types of dirt roads. Based on that, we believe that any truck or SUV with high clearance can easily drive this road and that, usually, four-wheel drive is not necessary. However, dirt road conditions change all the time, so there may be a time when four-wheel drive is necessary. If you drive a crossover vehicle that has standard ground clearance, you may or may not have difficulty on this road. It just depends on the road's condition. For those of you that have all-wheel drive vehicles, just remember that this doesn't mean you have four-wheel drive. There's a big difference. Another issue with any vehicle that is not really built for rough roads is the tires. Do you have all-terrain tires? And how are your off-pavement driving skills? How much experience do you have in dealing with rough, rocky roads and uncertain road conditions? So, with all of these variables to consider, this is why our answer to the question of, "Can I drive my vehicle on this road?" is, well, it depends. If you drive a high-clearance four-wheel drive vehicle and have experience with rough dirt roads, you'll probably do fine on this road. We just want you to be prepared. As you can imagine, it is impossible for us to keep up with the current condition of every road we write about in our virtual video tours or travel guides. We can only show you what they look like when we traveled on them. It's up to you to find out about current conditions and to use your common sense. Now for the history about this road. Just like so many times in California history, a gold rush is the catalyst for the development of roads so that people and supplies can easily get to the site. The road we're going to take you on is no different. Just think about how many people and how much equipment traveled on the same road you're traveling on. In 1860, gold was discovered in Holcomb Valley near modern-day Big Bear Lake. Soon, a rush of people were heading into the San Bernardino Mountains in hopes of getting rich. Look for our video tour of Holcomb Valley. The quickest way up the mountains was from the south, but as you can see in this sequence from Google Earth, the south side of the mountains are quite steep and, although it might be easy on horseback, it isn't suitable for wagons transporting heavy cargo and ore. Just at the right time, a new toll road was built through the Cajon Pass on the west end of the San Bernardino Mountains. This was the John Brown Toll Road. See another video tour showing where you can still travel parts of that road today. The John Brown Road gave easy access to the north side of the mountains. Miners in Holcomb Valley engaged resident blacksmith Jed Van Duzen to construct a wagon road from the top of the Cajon Pass all the way to Holcomb Valley. It would climb the mountains using a much gentler slope than the roads from the south. What's really surprising is that Van Dusen built a road for the very low cost of $1,500. And it wasn't even a toll road. Work was done with 30 to 40 men, and it was completed in 4 months. Try doing that today, in California no less. Here's an old map from the 1870s that shows a trace of the Van Dusen Road from the top of the Cajon Pass, skirting the northern edge of the mountains through modern-day Hesperia, then up into the mountains and over to Holcomb Valley. It's difficult to say what route the road took from the Cajon Pass over to the base of the mountains in Apple Valley, but we'll definitely be on the old road as we start this road trip in southern Apple Valley. The route we'll take doesn't go to Holcomb Valley. When the road reaches Big Pine Flat Campground, the Van Dusen Road veered left to Holcomb Valley. Our route will continue straight into Fawnskin. Today, this road has many names. Originally, it was called the Van Dusen Road. Later, it was referred to as the Coxy Truck Trail. Today, the National Forest has its section of the road marked as Road 3N14, and the BLM has its section marked as 3255. All right, enough of the history and old Jed Van Dusen's road. We're going to use Google Earth now and show you the places we'll be visiting in this tour. Here's the LA area, the Cajon Pass, and Big Bear Lake. Now, we'll zoom into the Cajon Pass. Here you can see Hesperia, where the Van Dusen Road passed through. Next, we'll zoom in closer to look at where our trip in southern Apple Valley begins. Our first turn is at this fork. You'll want to bear left. Bearing right will take you to Bowen Ranch and its hot springs. A few miles after the fork, the road climbs steadily, and you may need to engage your four-wheel drive if you have it. Be sure to turn around and look back at the great views of the Victor Valley. Shortly, you'll reach Oak Springs Ranch. Zooming out a bit, you'll see we still have a long way to go until we reach Big Bear. About 10 miles from the beginning of our trip, we reach Coxy Meadow. You might find a few ponds of water here. Next up is Big Pine Flat Campground. Here you can see the outstanding work of firefighters who saved the trees surrounding this small meadow. Here is where the Van Dusen Road went off to the left to Holcomb Valley. Our 3N14 road continues toward the right. We passed through another area that was decimated by fire in 2007. The deep canyon we descend into and then climb out of is Holcomb Creek. You can see Holcomb Valley here in the distance. We're almost in Fawnskin. The closer we get to Fawnskin, the better the road gets, and eventually it turns to pavement. Our trip ends as we hit Highway 38, also known as North Shore Road, in the middle of Fawnskin. Here you can spend the rest of your day enjoying the Big Bear Lake area. Here's a view looking back to see where we came from. Before we start our tour, we'd like to let you know about a great tool we use to navigate these back roads. It's called Gaia GPS. You can first plan your trip out on your computer at home, mark where you want to go. Then it will show you on your phone so that you can use it to navigate your trip. For the trip you're about to see, we've created what's called a GPX file that you can download from our blog. After you download it and load it into your Gaia GPS app, it will show all the places we talk about in this trip. Use the link in the description below or on our blog to purchase Gaia GPS at a discounted rate. The Gaia app offers so much more too, such as additional map layers like national park maps, USGS topo maps, geological maps, wildfire maps, and all the maps from National Geographic, which are quite expensive if you buy each map separately. All right, back to that map you saw earlier. We'll now zoom into the area where we'll start our trip at the south end of Apple Valley. On this map, you can get a better idea of where this road goes. The green area marks the boundaries of the San Bernardino National Forest. Although the total distance of this trip is 23 miles one way, it will probably take you 2 to 4 hours to drive it, depending on how many stops you make. Since there are so many dirt roads here that can lead to navigational confusion, we relied on our Gaia GPS app to lead the way, but we also had a paper map for backup. You can also use your phone with Google Maps, since it shows all the roads with the correct names. You can either follow our blog's instructions or try to find the beginning by typing Roundup Way and Bowen Ranch Road, Apple Valley into Google Maps. Then navigate to that location. Once at that intersection, reset your trip odometer to 0. Then head due south towards the hills. Are you ready to spend a few hours on a dirt road? Okay, hold on tight because here we go.